Today I'll be teaching you 3 ways that you can work with a RGB split in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'm here in my Premiere, where I prepared 3 clips where I will show 3 different methods of doing an RGB split, and they all have each of their use cases. So the first one, which I use quite a lot, is just using this effect here called Chromatic Aberrations. And if you apply that, you can basically see we get the RGB split. And in here you can play around, of course, with the aberration red, green, blue, and the fall off distance. You can get some different looks, and you can also, of course, keyframe this if you want to do that, or there's a lot of options in here. And what I think is really nice about this one, even though it's like a VR effect, is that it is an actual like effect you can just put on one clip and you can get these RGB split look. I do a lot of presets and they usually get applied to adjustment layers, so I can use this one whenever I do a transition or an effect. The second way you can do an RGB split is, probably the correct way. And this is more like if you want a very precise RGB split directly to how you imagined it to be. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate my clip here 3 times. I'm going to search for an effect called Lumetri Color. This is just our like base color correction. I'm going to apply that to all 3 clips. I'm going to come into the top one here. I'm going to go into curves. And here we can see the RGB curves. We're going to turn down the green and the blue in this first clip here. And we're going to do the same thing for the other clips, but just turn down the other ones. I'm just going to hide this for a second here. This one here, we want to keep the green. Turn down the red and the blue. And this last one here, we want to turn down the... We want to keep the blue, so we're going to turn down the red, the green. Now as you can see, this bottom layer here is the blue curve, middle one is the green, and the top layer is the red. Let's just show these again. And to blend them, we just want to change the blend mode, the top 2 clips to screen. And now the clip looks normal. But what we can do is then play around with the scale. For example, put this one to 105. That looks pretty sweet. Let's say maybe we want to have this one here, our middle clip, be keyframe from like 100 to 110. We can do that. So we get like this very cool, like trippy look where the RGB channels split a little bit more. And you can see there's a lot more customization with this one compared to the VR Chromatic Aberrations, but they both have their use cases. With the other one, it's just like an effect you put on. You can use it for adjustment layer. This one, you need to do a little bit more work to the clips. This one, definitely very useful. So this last effect I want to show is actually an effect called Channel Blur. It's under obsolete, but it's still working right now. And I think this one is pretty cool. It's like you can play around with the separate channels, but you can give this some blur. Let's try to give this red channel here some blur. And what you can see is you actually kind of get this RGB split look, but it's more because you just blur the red channel. And I think this one can really be used to stylize some clips. Maybe if you're like doing some vintage color correction or something like that, or you have a vintage video you want to do, you can play around with it. Of course, you can also keyframe these. So let's have it maybe go from 50 to, I don't know, 100. That'd be too crazy. But then you can play around with it. I think it gives a pretty cool look. And these are like the 3 ways that I know in Premiere Pro that you can play with the RGB split. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If you did, then please make sure to like and comment on this video. And also please consider subscribing to the channel. It really motivates me a lot to keep making these videos. But anyways, take care guys. Bye bye.